Welcome to the Seven Figure Builder Show. My name is Julie Baranek, founder of Seven Figure Builder, where we help high achieving CEOs work smarter, not harder, with gorgeous insights to scale to seven figures and beyond. And I'm here today with my friend, Kim Dang. Hey, Kim.
Hey, Julie. I'm happy to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you. So, first and foremost, where in the world are you?
I'm in Miami.
The beautiful sun behind you.
Yeah, I have a gorgeous view of the Miami beach over there and the water. And so I'm blessed by the weather that we have here. And I really like living in Miami. I travel quite a bit. So I'm going to be going to Medellin, Colombia in about a week and staying there for a month. And then after that, probably going to some conferences. There's a Kajabi conference that's upcoming. That's pretty interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, that is gorgeous down there. So, for people that haven't had the chance to meet you yet, can you tell us just a little bit about what you do with your business?
Yeah, so my name is Kim Dang. A lot of my handles are at Kim Possible Dang. And I'm the founder and CEO of Group Convert, like the group, GROUPCONVERT, converting a group. It's a tool that lets you collect emails from your Facebook groups in order for you to go and start that conversation with them automatically, because Facebook groups are growing very rapidly now more than ever. And because of that, there's all these people flowing into these groups, but their information isn't really gathered, or it's gathered in a very manual way. You have to answer 3 questions to come into a group if it's private on Facebook. And a lot of times people are copying and pasting that information over. So my tool lets you just collect that automatically, push it to a Google Sheet to connect it to your email autoresponder or whatever software that you have to keep track of your leads, and have a conversation with them to create a clear path to purchase so that they make a buying decision. So it's very clear. That's the software side of my company. I started out when I was younger creating a dismantling company, like a legal chop shop, right after I graduated from college. And from there, I'm like, all right, ecom, let's go into software. So that now I own the tool. And I've since taught people how to scale their little tiny simple software companies, going anywhere from zero to over $1 million a year, like passive income. From there, I parlayed that to building out an education company now that I take coaches, course creators to monetize from their community. And I specialize using a Facebook group because that's one of my more popular tools. And then from there, I teach them how to scale out, as in what automations, who do they hire, in what order, to have a kind of group coaching business that upsells into a mastermind level. If they have an expertise that they can teach the world, I can show them how to convert one to many inside of a group.
Amazing. So it sounds like you're bored, right? Like you really have nothing to do.
I was like, I'm sitting around watching
Right. Absolutely. So I am like super excited to talk about this with you today. But first and foremost, why Facebook groups? Like, why that of all things? Do you really want to dig in there?
Yeah. So it's because I'm trying to solve the next problem, which was created from the first initial me solving a solution, or providing a solution to these people. So I started off with my own Facebook group because my friend Rachel, she's like, Kim, you can do affiliate marketing. That's different than ecom, that what you're doing over there, because you don't need any inventory. You can just make money online. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I started a Facebook group for affiliate marketing. I earned very little income from affiliate marketing, but I just noticed that there was something I was doing all the time, copying and pasting people's answers and questions as they're coming into my group. I'm like, oh man, there must be a better solution. So I commissioned a random person on Upwork to create a tool for me that will just do it automatically. And I remember at that time when I created the group, I only had 25 people. So I manually collected 25 emails and I sent my email list, my whopping email list of 25 people, the tool, offering the tools, thinking, oh, you know what? If I need this, they would probably need it. And then I saw 2 people subscribe to me for $7 a month on absolutely like pixels, like
Right.
code on the internet. So that I got for $380 one time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I saw that within a week of me just going, hey guys, I have this tool, and going into that and going, I'm going to be a software owner. my income went from, for that software business, like making just a few couple bucks a day, to doing $1,500 a month within like a week and a half, to
Wow.
over 2,000. This was 3 years ago. So now it's very substantial. And I've since then acquired other software companies that are like tiny, and then have scaled them out. So that's why now I'm doing this. But going back to your question, why Facebook groups? It's because that's one of my more popular tools. And when I saw that we have over 12,000 subscribers, and they were like, Kim, what do I do after I collect the emails? And I realized, oh, I can show them how to monetize that group. So that's when I started looking into, all right, how do I monetize? And to answer that question, it's like, oh, you can pitch into the group. And so I looked into it, like, how do they convert one-to-many into a group? Because a group is basically a platform. They are selling from a virtual stage. And when I just honed in on, like, what do they have to say? How do they say it? What does that look like? How do they open up the group? How do they talk to the group? I saw clients coming in within 2 weeks in my program because of the way that we tell them what to say, how to pitch into their group. They'll go from like trying to struggle selling a $500 SEO course like Tyler did, to doing $66,000 because 13 people said yes to his $5,000 group coaching program that we just made up. We just added like, hey, can you do group coaching from this course? And he's like, yeah. And I said, can you show up 2 times a week, like an hour each time, to answer questions in a Zoom room? He's like, yes, I can do that, Kim. So that enabled people to go from barely making anything from their group because they just have their group on the side, to doing these massive numbers in as short as 2 weeks. So we really honed that down. And so if you have an expertise and you are struggling to monetize from your audience because you're trying other methods like cold emailing, other things, a Facebook group is one of the best vehicles that I've witnessed to go from absolutely nothing, no audience, no testimonials, not even an offer, to enrolling 9 to 15 clients into a high ticket offer in as little as 2 weeks. And so I'm totally geeked out over this group thing because I saw how strong it could be and how many lives it actually changes through this process. Because a lot of people, they really want to be able to spend time with their family. They really want to have time back, and they really want to live a life that they truly want to live, like wake up and do what they want to do. And a lot of times that's aligned with them teaching something they already know, and being able to help other people. So it's a very fulfilling vehicle. That's also why Facebook groups, to me, I could say, hey, I can teach you to monetize from your audience, but that would mean that I really am talking to everyone. However, if I say I can teach you to monetize from a Facebook group, then they're like, oh yeah, I have one over here in the corner. Let me dust that off and try it out.
Absolutely. And you mentioned about passive income, like Facebook will also promote it for you, that the more active you are, right, the more Facebook is going to say, hey, don't you want to join this group? And then it brings people in and suggest it to them, right?
Yeah, so it's an actually living, breathing asset that continues. I call it ATMs, online ATMs. Inside of a group, there's content generated testimonials, people talking to each other, and you are the leader of that group. So there's all this, it's like an echo chamber effect of great things going on in that group. And as long as you know how to like talk to the group the right way, how to set up the group structurally so there's a clear path to purchase, it actually can be quite easy for you to consistently monetize from your group month after month.
Awesome. So lots of people out there have Facebook groups, right? And lots of people are not making the kind of money that you're talking about. So what are the biggest mistakes that you see people making in their Facebook group?
Yeah, not creating a clear path, not setting up the group so there's a clear path to purchase. Just willy-nilly, the banner there's no call to action on the banner, and there's no call to action to even click on it. There's in the description, there's no link to their opt-in. Like structurally setting up the group, I have this thing called the value post pipeline. So as soon as someone comes in, if your group is set up the right way, there's going to be a pin post. That pin post will tell them exactly like what to expect, what to do next, and lead them into a clicking decision. So they'll step 1, step 2, step 3, click here to continue your journey. And you click, that leads them to another post. And another post would say, hey, I have Instagram, subscribe to me. Let's all subscribe to each other. Go ahead and drop your Instagram below. So it like helps share. So you can utilize a group to go and increase your social media as well. And then, all right, click here. And it would be another post inside of the group that has a video of you doing a training, kind of like a little webinar, so that they can go and enter your course. All these things can happen, but people just have no idea how to even put it there. And then also, when you ask 3 questions and people are coming into your group, you can set it up so that you're actually making a sale. So one of the things you can ask is, do you have my thing? And your thing could be your book. Your thing could be a PDF that you sell for like $27, something like low ticket. And they'll say, no, I don't have it yet. Can I get it? Or you'll see them answer no, or yeah, I just got it. I just am on the trial version. Or like, yeah, I just got it, but I need help. So from that, those are all leads. And you could include a link. Like I say, hey, do you have GroupConvert? It lets you collect emails from Facebook groups. So-and-so use it. And so-and-so multi-7-figure CEO and 8-figure CEO person use it. So some social proof. And then if you don't have it, go here, www.groupconvert.com. Just by including that question as people are coming into my group on a daily basis, it allows us to get more subscribers because of just the exposure of it. They've gone through one kind of line of defense already, which is they want to learn from that group. They're there to learn how to grow their group. So my group is how to grow their group. And then from there, they're answering the question, and the question's like, hey, this lets you collect emails from your group. So when you're growing it, you can actually have your own list. And so it's very intent driven. But if you don't even include that question and you're like, hey, are you going to follow the rules of this? Yes, please. It becomes this, yeah, like you just don't know. So there are things like that tactically that you just don't know, that is like, oh, structurally, yeah, you can change it. But then there's also like the bigger top-down kind of psychological aspect to think about this, which is how to treat the group, which is for my clients, I say, hey, don't open up your first group until you have at least 200 people waiting to come in. Because when you open it up, they can flood in all at once and they can introduce themselves as the first pin post. And that will kick the algorithm and push you all the way to the top in a very short amount of time. And you can ride that wave into making a call to action to buy your coaching offer or buy your thing. We have people who sell e-com, like physical products as well. But that is, okay, how do you open up the group? What does that look like? So I show them how to do that. And doing that will allow you to monetize from your group in as little as 2 weeks, because it takes about 2 weeks to fill up the group. So that's another thing that I see people thinking. They'll just let anyone in, and then just slowly build it up, when they can treat it like a virtual room that exists on the internet, and you're letting people in. And before you let them in, they actually are in the waiting room section, which is all the members request area. And you can see every single detail that they have. You can see their social media profile. You can see the questions that they answer. And they'll answer questions like, yeah, I need help. Because one of the questions I have is, hey, we help entrepreneurs, course creators make an extra $50,000 to $100,000 a month with group sizes as small as 200 people. If you are curious about this and you want us to reach out, drop your phone number below. So we have their phone number, we have their email address, we have their actual profile, so we can click send a message. And my team will have the conversations before we let them inside of the group for our training or whatever it is. We run these 5-day challenges that they can benefit from. And another thing, a secret, not really a secret, but something that most people won't know is that with these groups, if you set it up so that the videos that they see, the first videos they see is a video that sells the next video, that sells the next video, and you do it in succession where it's the first video sells the vehicle and have them commit to your vehicle. So for example, for me, they're committing to having a group and they're committing to that. And then the second video sells the first part of what your formula is. Let's say you have 3-part formula. For us, it's GOL, group offer launch. They're like, oh, okay, they're committing to saying yes to learning part 1 of your formula, part 2, And then part 3, and when you teach them how to think differently. So when you can actually pitch within just like 3 or 5 days your offer to them with all of their objections broken completely down, and them committing to you every single day, every single video. So you can actually put them through this amazing objection handling, mind breaking kind of long form. It's a longer form webinar that now exists and lives and consistently converts for you. And so you can actually, once you do that live once or twice, you can actually run ads to the group. People watch the videos as they go along, engage with the content, and then make a buying decision. And so it's actually really cool that can exist inside of a group as well. And a lot of the people that I'm talking to is most of your audience, which are like female entrepreneurs. So, you know, if they have anything to teach, this utilizing a group is one of the best vehicles that I see to give you the highest ROI in the shortest amount of time with the warmest calls. That's what Christopher Stubbs just told me. And he's been an entrepreneur for over a decade, teaching men how to be like in their power. And he's like, yeah, I've done all the ads and the webinars and all that stuff, Kim. I said, yeah, this is a great alternative, right? He's like, no, this is not an alternative. This is the way. And I was like, oh my gosh. He got 90% conversion ratio.
Wow.
From views. So he's like, I've never experienced this in my life. And so, yeah, it's pretty exciting that this solution exists for people if they want to do it. Because the mistake is, hey, I got to build up my audience. It'll take time. Hey, I need to put together an offer. All this stuff. And so I realized that no, none of that is true if you know how to utilize a Facebook group. Yeah.
So essentially you're creating the Facebook group as a selling engine for what it is that you're ultimately trying to accomplish, and then using the funnel of people coming into your Facebook group to feed them through that engine and then convert them in the conversations, which is absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm. And they can be converted straight up through a sales form. Once they watch like video 3 or 4, it sends, you could actually pitch straight up. So you can just sell straight to an order form if you don't have a high ticket offer. If your offer is high ticket, like above 5,000, you do need to send them to schedule a call.
So let's talk about content within the group, because I know a lot of people feel like they're constantly pitching, and then people get very turned off by the fact that they're being sold to all the time. So how is that happy medium? Like, what do you recommend for people with that?
Yeah, so I recommend my clients have a common nurture group where it's like not pitching all the time. It's just, hey, this is a free training and I'll show you this. And by the way, I have a 5-day challenge coming up, or I have 3-day challenge coming up. It's going to exist in the smaller group. Click here. And the small group, all it is they know that there's going to be a pitch. And so the small group exists and lives continuously as a pitch machine, but people are saying yes to entering it from your main group. And the small group, once the training is over, you have a VA, just delete all the videos. And so it can start all over again. It can start in 2-week cohorts over and over again as your main group is like growing, and the small group, and it feeds each other. So you run ads. So once you convert organically, my clients, I take them through 3 stages. Stage 1, they fill up a group, 200 to 300 people. I show them how to do that. I tell them exactly what to say, how to say it. They pitch, they convert 3 to 5% of that group, anywhere from 9 to 15 clients. First stage 1, they get that cash. Okay, cool. And now what happens at the end of that training? The group itself collapses, as in all the videos are just removed from that. And we're like, hey, if you want to continue your journey with your peers, go ahead and join the main group. And that's call to action is through emails, SMS, also a link. And so the small group feeds the main group, and the main group continues growing. And the main group is not like a pitch fest, but the small group is. So you have the main group that you nurture. And a lot of times my clients don't even nurture their main group. Like they just leave it to die, because the smaller pitch group is enough for them to generate the extra $50,000, $100,000 a month from like this small teeny audience. And yeah, like I have clients who their group is as small as literally 40 people and they only have like 10 people watching them, but 9 people would buy into their 4K offer. That's still $36,000 that they make in like 5 days. So it's still pretty good. One of the things I do know when I answer that question is your energy, right? Your time. So a lot of my clients, they're like, Kim, this is fine with this group and that group, but I don't want to continue pitching live all the time. Can this be automated? And the answer is yeah. So we actually tell our clients after they pitch stage 1, they pitch stage 2, they pitch again. And stage 3 is when we run ads to their pitch. They can choose one of the replays. And from there, we send the people into a Kajabi portal or some kind of like membership replay portal. And that will convert as well because you've done it live and you got that back and forth feedback from the audience. So you can like figure out the tweaks and the kinks. And then you run ads to a training that it won't convert 3 to 5%. It'll convert 1 to 2%, but that's still good. And so that's when I take them into a more like evergreen journey, which is, hey, you can sell in and out of your 5-day training. You can sell in and out of launches. It's like sales can come in every single day if you choose to want to do that. Because some people like a lifestyle business. They're like, I don't want to do any of that, Kim.
Yeah.
No book calls for me, you know?
Yeah. Well, and the smaller group that you mentioned creates urgency, right? Because they're only in there for that short period of time and then you close it out. And then if they don't make a decision, then you feed them back to the bigger group. But, you know, they're losing that excitement and that urgency with that short period of time, right?
Yeah, bingo. Not only urgency, oh my gosh, so many things. FOMO,
Yeah.
which is like when you start enrolling clients, we're putting in congratulations posts in that small group. So
Right.
they see their peers running to the back of the room. So there's a lot of components that mimics a live in-person event without you having to book out that ballroom and the food and all that stuff. And you're doing it from the comfort of your own house. So there's a lot of like rushing to the back of the room effect. And then there's also, all the videos go down. So they lose all of that and they have to make a decision or, I mean, that's it. And during the meantime, they're doing a lot of the work. They're committing to you every step of the way. And there's a phrase that I say a lot in my training, which is movement equals magic. So when you're moving, you're committing, you're doing all this thing. Some of them, they're like, man, I did more in the past 5 days than I did in the past year. I need to continue this momentum. Like they feel like they can't stop. And so when I invite them to come and work with me, it's more like, what if you could do this? What if you can continue this momentum for the next year of your life? How would your life look like a year from now? And they're like, oh my God.
I need that.
Oh, let's do that. They're already in motion. So they're the best clients. They come in, they already did the homework. So I just take them the rest of the way. But yeah, it's like you said, it is it's real scarcity. It is fear of missing out. It's social proof. Oh, you're streaming testimonials from past clients in there if you have any. And then there's also, and you're getting testimonials while you're doing your training, even before they enter into your program, because one of the homework that they have is to drop their testimonial and biggest insight into a comments section. So you can go and take a picture of all the testimonials and video testimonials. So they're going to go live inside of the group as an asset for you for the future. And they're going to go, oh, this training is amazing. This is the biggest insight I got from today. And that's part of their homework. So it's actually really cool. Like you can get a lot done in a short period.
That is absolutely. So the whole thing, I geek out on systems and automation and data and all that fun stuff, but like the whole thing is a big system with automation. And how does it help people work smarter, not harder? Like, how does it really make their life easier other than, I know we've talked about little pieces of it throughout.
Because it's like in 2 weeks, you're working on an asset that you don't need to change all the time, that it can just exist and live. And it's like one of the most highest converting series of videos. And it could be your, like I say, the seat that you're sitting in right now when you're watching me, whether it's a chair or cushion, a wooden seat that you're on, that's the seat of your multi-million-dollar empire right now, because you can do this right where you are. And so working smarter and not harder is you're not on this content hamster wheel of creating a bunch of different content. You create this one asset. And some of my clients have used the very first time that they do their launch again and again and again, the same slides, the same message, the same thing over and over again for like over a year, and it still works. Like for me, the training that I give now is the same training that I gave 2 years ago. Of course, I tweak it and I add more stuff to it, and we like improve a lot on our back end and everything. But it's essentially the same thing. It's breaking down every single objection that they have towards your vehicle, your method, and then it's positioning you so that you're the very next logical step in their journey. The only objection they should have left by the time you pitch is money. And one of the things that I like, a phrase I really connect with, is something I learned from Sam Evans. He's like, hey, let's eat our customers' complexity. So it's one thing to be successful and to convert, right? It's another thing to teach someone to get the same results that you get, or even like surpass your results. So one of the things we do is, all right, what's complex in this whole thing? Maybe the funnel. So for us, we white label this Go High Level software, and we call ours Group Launch. And so Group Launch. And with Group Launch, they can come in, fill out a teeny form, and then have everything up and running in one form. They have their landing page opt-in, to the thank you, to the book a call, to the sales page, to all of the emails connected, to all the SMS connected, all the nurture posts connected. So everything is all connected, up and running. They just got to change their image and the bullet points and the copy, but we work with them on that. So that's one way to work smarter, not harder, to join some kind of like program or system that allows you to just collapse a bunch of time. And so that's one way we collapse time. Another way is, we used to have people watch a bunch of videos. We're like, okay, you got to say this like this, and we record a bunch of videos for them. That doesn't collapse as much time as having like a trained offer coach sit down with them and literally tell them exactly what they're going to say. What does their offer look like? What's the price point? What's each line item? And then how they're going to pitch it, and the psychology behind all of that in a few calls. So like in 1 to 2 calls, my clients are like, oh, I'm ready to freaking do this. I have my funnel. I have a group, I have the assets for the group, which is like literally a banner, and I'm ready to go. And so they'll do their launch very quickly, and they'll be so shocked. Like one of my clients, he just launched in 1 week, 3 days. He gave his audience 3 days. He's like, guys, I have a training coming up. And he had 400 people sign up for his training in 3 days from his Instagram. So he didn't even have a group.
Wow.
And he pitched and he enrolled 10 people into his 7K offer. He did like $70,000 in 3 days notice to his audience. And his group filled up to 400 people. So it was sizable.
Right.
But for him, he's like, wow, I just made $70,000. And that's just like a regular example. The crazier ones is Lan Berku, who had 2,000 people like join her training. And she did 42 enrollments. She did $250,000 in 5 days. And she
Oh my God.
And it was her first time offering a high ticket offer. That she was just selling this $997 thing until we're like, hey, charge $5,000 at least. And she's like, okay, 5,600. And I'm like, oh yeah, do that. And so she pitched that, and she was like, Kim, this is insane. And I said, I know, like, this is what's possible. This is what you can do. The biggest mistake that I see people do is they think they can just like go and mimic someone and be like, oh, I'm just gonna copy this person. But really, it's that sit down with someone that's already done that for hundreds of other people, and then just telling you what to say. That has been the breakthrough in terms of our clients getting success and their journey, their customer journey, collapsing time for them. Yeah, so that's something that I want to share, because you might be a coach listening to this and you're like, they gotta just deal with those videos. But I'm like, if you pay a coach to really do that for them, and it takes a couple of calls, the ROI is massive, because it really, the people who in this space, the people who are earning $500,000 to $1 million a month have a more dialed back end system that is geared towards ascension than it is front end sales. Front end sales can tap out at $100,000 to $200,000 a month, but back end ascension. We had a client come in. She paid $9K, which is a 3-month program, just $9K. And then she was like, all right, on the onboarding call, because we dialed in our backend system, the onboarding call, have her be aware of our higher level program. And she's like, I'm going to do that. And so she went from a 9K client to a $40,000 client in one conversation. And I don't think people know that they can do that. So I'm just like, this is something you can do. Like the back end is going to be a lot more higher. This is, of course, if you have a solid core offer and you're ready to like do that back end, you know, you can't just willy-nilly do this. But this is something that I've noticed that works really well as well. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And, you know, we think about so often that in our funnels, when you're first making that sale, that people are often, you know, you're in the buying cycle. So they're more likely to buy something else. But once they're onboarding, I don't think anybody really thinks about the fact that you can offer them that higher level. Like usually it's like farther in the journey, you think about, okay, I'm going to pitch them later, you know, to that ascension model of this is my higher level package. But you're right that during that onboarding period, they're really still in that buyer cycle of I'm ready to buy. I trust you. I've given you my money. So that's not that far of a leap to really jump them up to the next level, which is absolutely incredible. Awesome. And then you mentioned about, you know, doing this whole system that you're building, you're doing over and over again. You can really refine it to bring in all the questions that they have and just polishing it better and better and better every single time, that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, which is, you know, really awesome that it just makes it easier for you every single time.
Yeah. And when the messaging is better and better, it's intuitive selling too. You know, like the people who are like, heck yeah to you when they come into your group, because we have a lot of layering processes, which is like we grade them if they book a call, we anchor their book call to after our pitch, but we book out our entire, like the entire calendar by day one. So we have these strategies that's like, okay, you do this and you'll be able to book out your entire calendar, but you'll jump on warm calls because they are allowed to only be in your calendar after the pitch, but they're anchored to watching the videos because they already scheduled a call. So there's these like tactical things like that, but like it's so warm. It's so that I'm like, oh man, you gotta try it out. If you have a Facebook group, you gotta try it out at least like maybe once. And
then you'll be hooked.
yes, you'll be hooked. And it's the same thing. Like you're not on this content hamster wheel creating all these dances for TikToks. A lot of my clients come from that world of like, Kim, I gotta continue posting and posting, and I'm jumping on all these really cold calls. And I'm like, yeah, because you know, that's the way that they tell you what to do. But this is something that you can do where you don't have to do that. You have one asset, it works really well, and you can run ads to that asset later on, and it will just convert on its own. Like one of my clients, Shelly, at first she came to me, she was selling $60 an hour for time teaching people how to do handstands in a studio. Like she had her own yoga place. Mm-hmm. And after that, I'm like, maybe you can pitch group coaching and you'll teach them through Zoom. And she's like, what? Handstand through Zoom? And I said, yeah, you can do it. And so we crafted a $4,500 offer for her. She pitched that into a group. She went from barely making anything to doing $90,000 to $100,000 a month. And with that money, she just hired coaches right away. I was like, all right, run fast, get coaches underneath you, hire people to teach this stuff through Zoom with you and in your place. And she's like, okay. She started running fast. And now I'm like, all right, you have that asset, run ads to it. And so now she's like on vacation with her husband that she retired. And the ads would run into these videos that leads to her booking a call, closing. And she has zero intervention in the whole process. And she went to one of our live events at my penthouse in Miami. And she's like, guys, I just closed the deal. Nothing. I'm here with you guys. Awesome. You know, she's like,
that is awesome.
That's what can be possible. Yeah.
Wow. So you have accomplished incredible things. You've taught people to accomplish incredible things. How do you define success? Like, what does that look like to you?
Success to me is very different than success to a lot of people, because everyone's idea of success is just different. They come from all walks of life. For me, success is, I feel like I am already successful. to a degree, because I have thousands of people who are super, super happy that I'm in their life and they know about me. I have tons of clients. I have an amazing team and we get massive client wins every single week. So I'm like, this is really cool. And I get to now tinker and work on random projects, software projects. So I'm actually building out bigger software because I'm like, oh, this is a multiple $1 million company, but this problem that I solve over here can be a $1 billion company. And with this as a cash cow, and it's helping a lot of people, I can go and take profits from that and put it into solving a much bigger problem. So I'm like around there, and success to me is being able to have a life where my family is taken care of. So I retired my parents. They don't have to worry about money for the rest of their life. And my team members are happy, successes. I'm surrounded by people who I'm like, not like I'm not crazy known, but in my circle, in the space, I feel very like lucky that people show up to my trainings or they happen to talk to me and they're like, is this the real Kim Day, or am I talking to a bot? Am I talking to a bot, or is this real? Are you real?
That's awesome.
So I have that reality right now.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, if the people in my life are healthy, happy, and my team members are not stressed out and they're doing well, and I'm continuously recruiting and getting more jobs for people, I define that as success. And if I am healthy, and now I feel like I train my body to be this, I'm like a marathon equivalent of a business person, because I'm able to go back to back to back to back of calls, meetings, this and that, podcast, this, that, and then still go on date night, still be able to live without feeling like, oh my gosh, my life. And then I can stop at any time. I could, which I don't want to, because I would have to fire a bunch of people. But I'm like, oh, this is voluntary. So
Right.
so I feel successful in that sense. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you've got so many things going on, obviously, but what is the most life-changing goal for you this coming year? What can you share with us?
So I started releasing these apps, like this software called GroupFlow. It's at trygroupflow.com, and it scrapes leads, not like email addresses where it's kind of illegal, but it scrapes leads from all these groups, and it crowdsources which group is more relevant. And then also in the future, it's going to give a weighted value to each member. So let's say a member online on Facebook is part of 7 paid masterminds because they're a crazy buyer, or they just invest in themselves in a massive way. That person would have like a weighted, some kind of value to them, that because of their profile, because of the groups that they're a part of, we know, okay, this person might be a buyer, and we can actually form that kind of list and have that list be available for our users. And also, what I notice is that people who are doing organic marketing, they value certain posts, and some posts will go viral, their own posts, and they'll have to keep track of the people who comment below. So the software keeps track of all these posts for you, and we'll go back and revisit the posts to continue communicating with the people. And with the advent of AI, it's going like massive speed, massive changes right now, we can actually include messaging that's like more automated, but like attached to GPT-3. And so I feel like the future is pretty crazy this upcoming year because of how fast things are changing. Yeah. And I feel like my goal is to be able to get Try GroupFlow to 5,000 users. That's my goal, and seeing where that goes. Plus, it's a tool that will help my current clients as well, because a lot of them are trying to figure out organic marketing, like if ads don't work that well. And this tool will enable them to do that. And we have like crazy insight on our users, because it's a CRM. So we know how much they close. We see like the book calls to the close. So we can actually see within a paid group, the revenue that it's being generated in that group, and what type of audience, what type of niche, what person that is. And then we can compare that across multiple groups to give like massive insight, which I
Wow.
think is the equivalent of like a pixel. You know, a Facebook
Mhm.
pixel is invisible. You know, there's like ads running and it's targeting people, and we have no idea who's really being targeted until after the fact, until they do the click, until they do the thing. For this, it would be taking the data and information of what is invisible in a pixel and bringing it to the forefront to coaches, course creators, people who want to reach their audience. So
That's incredible.
that's the future.
It sounds absolutely incredible. And for people that their minds are just like blown with this conversation, how can they find you? How can they support you? How can they get involved?
I send everyone to groupconvert.com. It's a tool. It's very tiny, but it will enable you to go into my email newsletter. And from there, you can enter more into my world. If you're curious to have a conversation with my team, I do have a little tiny, like 20-minute video that I put onto the landing page. It's called Group Convert Ignite ignite.com/application. If you want to apply to come and work with us, it's like a little 20-minute video that kind of explains everything. And then if you are serious, only if you're serious and you want to work with us, then you can schedule a call with the team and you'll jump on a call with one of my team members. And if it makes sense, they will go and provide you the level of offer that you qualify for in that process. So you can find me everywhere on Kim Possible Dang, any Twitter or YouTube or wherever. But the main website you should go to get access into my world is groupconvert.com.
Beautiful. And we'll have all the links down there below so everybody can click on them and definitely check out what Kim is doing. This is just mind-blowing stuff and can really help transform your business. And if you found value in this episode, please do share it because that's how people find us. And you can find me at sevenfigurebuilder.com. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you, Kim, for being on with us today.
Thanks, Julie, for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys soon.